Hey there! Welcome to Stamping Fun with Donna. I'm Donna, and today I'm bringing you a Monday Mini. Every Monday I try to get you a card that only takes about 10 minutes to make and that you can replicate very easily when you're short on time. Now, all of us have times when we have to leave the house quickly and don't have very long to make a card. There's a great time to make intricate cards, but there's also needs for quicker cards. For instance, yesterday I was going to my cousin's daughter's graduation from college party and I didn't have a card, and so I made a quick card for her. Quick cards don't necessarily have to look quick. They can look great and people can really be impressed with them, and you can enjoy the process of making and giving the cards, because that's what it's all about, right? We make cards because we get joy out of making cards, we get joy out of giving cards, and the person who receives it gets joy out of receiving the card. So it's kind of three good things rolled into one. There's no downside to card making. Today we're going to be using Wild Bunch. Wild Bunch is the product of the month for June 2026. So if you're watching this in June of 2026, you can get this stamp set for just $5 with a qualifying order of $75 or more. That's $75 of product prior to taking off any rewards and prior to adding in your shipping and handling. As long as your order is at least $75, you can get the product of the month for just $5. This is the June, as I said, 2026 one, and it's adorable. I can't stop making cards with it. The animals are so cute. It's got great sayings, and it's got a birthday hat you can put on any of the animals, presents, background stamp, sprigs, a heart. There's so many things that my mind is racing with all the kinds of cards I want to make with this. I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today. So today we're going to be making a card that this is the template for. Now, when I'm trying to make a quick card, this is my favorite template. It always looks great. It's always beautiful, impressive, and it's really a fast and easy card. So what we do is we do as usual, make a card base, cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 inch paper horizontally down the side, and fold it in half in the middle, and you've got the card base. This here is done in a coordinating color to what you're going to be coloring with, and it's a 4 by 3 inch piece of paper, and the white underneath it, or on top of it, is actually just 1/8 of an inch smaller. Now, sometimes people get nervous when I start talking about 1/8 of an inch, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. So here's one with the penguins. Here's one with the koala bears. They're so cute. And here's one with the heifer crowd, the heifers. In order to color in the heifers, I had to look up what heifers actually look like. And you can just go on Google and you can do an image search and put in a heifer, and it'll tell you what the colors are and how you should make them. So this one was watercolored, and this one was watercolored. I used our new hybrid black stamping pad in order to be able to do these, because they are both watercolor, and I use blends on each of them as well. And if you're going to use both, you can't use the same pad unless it's the hybrid pad to do both watercoloring and Stampin' Blends, because Stampin' Blends is made out of, it's alcohol based, and watercoloring is obviously water based. So the black hybrid pad is really good for that. And then this one was just made with blends, and I used it using a color. Did you know that you don't have to stamp in black? That the outline can actually be a color. This one here is early espresso. So you don't need to use black every time. Let's put that aside and we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to show you is how I cut the 1/8 of an inch, because they're really very easy, and you wouldn't have known that if I didn't tell you that. So let me see what I can do here about grabbing a piece, because this is already cut into 1/8. I want to show you on a new piece. Let me grab a new piece to show you. Here we go. All right, so here's a regular size piece of paper, And I have one that's already been cut a little bit. I was looking for that one. Let me set that aside. So this one's already been cut a little bit. So if I want to make this into 1/8 of an inch smaller than 4 and then 3, here's 3, here's 4. That's 3 1/2. That's 3 3/4. And in between, you can see there are 1/8ths marked out and there are 1/16ths marked out. So I don't worry so much about getting the exact numbers when I'm adding. What I do is I go to 4 and then I move it back 2 ticks. Because I know 2 ticks is 1/8 of an inch. Then if I cut that off, there we go. You can take that and set it aside. And then I go to the 3 and I move it back 2 ticks. And now I have a perfectly sized piece of paper that is 1/8 of an inch smaller than our colored paper. And it fits beautifully with a small amount of the coordinated paper around the edges of it. This is a great way to get that sort of a look where it's cut close and isn't very difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up, we have our card base, and we have a brown piece of paper, and we have a white piece of paper. And I'm going to set these aside. Actually, I just decided I'm going to change the brown out because the brown I was using for the heifer, but I think we're going to use a penguin for today. So I'm taking the two-tone, the 12 by 12 two-tone in Secret C, and I'm going to cut this for just a second. There's at 4, and here's going to be at 3. There we go. And now I'm going to set this back aside. We'll use this with this white piece of paper because the black will be more, or the Secret C will be more coordinating with the penguins than the brown was. I'm going to go ahead and set that piece aside and put this piece here and grab my stamps. Here is the penguin. Okay, the penguin is really super cute. The other thing I wanted to tell you and show you is that what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing animals behind each other. Now, if I would just stamp this and then just stamp this and then just stamp this, all the lines from behind here would be on top. So I'm going to show you a way that you can make a 3D card where animals are, or any kind of object or person, are placed behind other objects on the card. It's really fascinating and easy way to do, and it makes it look so much better. So I have here my penguin, and I'm going to grab my, let's see, where's my stamp pad? I don't think I have it here with me. Hold on one second. That's what happens when you put things away, right? I had just put it away, and then I decided to go ahead and film this now. So let me grab my memento, which we have here, and we're going to stamp the penguin in memento right in the middle of our card. And we want to leave room. I'm going to put this here so you can see it. We want to leave room for hearts and for a saying. So it's not going to be totally down. I'm going to stamp it once here. Just make sure. That was a little heavy-handed. Let me try this again. If I stamp it up, that's much better. Okay, here we go. So I want to leave room for there to be things on the bottom. And whoops, I dropped it. Hopefully that'll be okay. But if not, I'm going to turn it over. There's 2 sides of every paper, right? That's what you have, is 2 sides of every paper. So there's no reason not to use it because I dropped it and got it in the wrong spot. So let's go ahead and get him stamped right there. Great. All right, he's beautiful. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use Stampin' Up's masking paper. It comes in these 5 by 7 inch pieces of paper. There's a seam down the middle. And what we're going to do is on the side that doesn't have the seam, we're going to go ahead and stamp one of these penguins right here. There we go. Doesn't matter where you're going to stamp it because we're going to cut them out. So I'm going to grab some scissors and we're going to just cut around him. It's best if you use your Stampin' Snips if you have them. I just don't have them out today, so I'm using these larger ones. What we need to do is just cut right on the line of the penguin. Now, usually when you're cutting things out, you're leaving a space, a white space, as though it was a die that you used to cut it out. But we're not today. We're going to cut it real close and actually right on the line, because that's going to give us the best for masking. If you leave a line, if you leave some white space when you're masking, then you're going to end up with some white space where you don't want it, because it's not going to stamp there. So you can see that my right hand, which is my dominant hand, is staying completely still, and my left hand is turning the paper perfectly well while I do this. There we go. And I'm going to just cut around here, and we are almost done. It's really, people get a little nervous about fussy cutting. It's really not that difficult, and you can always take your time and do it, or just do it kind of quickly. I mean, you saw this one just took a couple minutes. I'm going to snip that off there, and then I'm going to just trim this part, which had a little bit of white still on it. Put that aside. Now we need to take the backing off, because what this is a piece of paper on the top that we stamped on, and it has a backing underneath it that's sticky. So you can just use a sticky note if you want when you're doing this. You don't need to use the masking paper. I like the masking paper because it covers the whole area. So if we would go ahead and put this down, and then I just poke it and pull it away. It's very easy to take off. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the masked penguin right on top of the first penguin. And now we've covered the first penguin up. So I'm going to take the penguin stamp and stamp a second one. Let me just make sure that's not too much. Looks good. Stamp a second one as though he's behind on this side. And there we go. We're going to stamp him there. And then we're going to take this one and stamp him on the other side. I want him to be a little lower right there, and pick it up. Now, if you didn't use masking paper, or a sticky note or anything like that, this is what you'd end up with. It's a bit of a mess, right? But we have the masking paper on here. So when I pull it away, you can see it's a 3D scene there. Isn't that terrific? You can actually reuse these. Just go ahead and put this into your stamp case and use it another time. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the memento away because we don't need that anymore. There we go. And I'm going to take out some blends that I'm going to use to color him in. So here they are. I'm going to be using the dark and light gray, and then this one here is light bubble bath, because we want to, we also want another color for his feet. So I guess we want one color for his beak and one color for his feet. We could actually make them the same. Why don't we just make them in pink? So I'm going to go ahead and take this. It's got a wide end and a thin end on every one. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in with the dark color the entire top of his head here. There we go. And little strokes are better than big strokes with this. And then we're going to do this right here. And there's the third one. Now we need to do his arms there and there. And then a little bit of his back that you can still see. There we go. And this arm, or flipper, I guess it is, not an arm. And we are done with that. This is really, really fast and easy to color in. Now what I'm going to do here is use the smaller tip to do his beak here, and his beak here, and his beak here, and then his feet. And the reason I'm using the smaller end is because it's, a little bit harder to get into the smaller spaces with something that is larger, with the larger tip side. Now looking at that, I think it's a little bit light. So they're blends. You can always go over them. I'm going to go over them with the, what is this? This is Calypso Coral. Is that right? Let me see. Yep, Calypso Coral. So I'm going to go over it here. I don't really think you see the beak that much, but you'll see it more on the feet. There we go. That's a little bit more well-defined, I would say. There we go. Okay, and we're done with coloring. That's all there was with this. It's very fast and easy. Now we're going to take just a note, and I want to stamp this on here as well. So I'm going to bring back the memento and stamp just a note. Let me go ahead and stamp it once here. Beautiful. And stamp it right here in the middle. Just a little note right there. Let it just soak in. You don't have to press hard. Definitely don't rock it. You just have to let it sit and take in get into the paper. And then I'm going to put a heart on this side and a heart on this side. There we go. And I'm going to bring back that pink. And again, using the more compact end, just color that in here and here. And those are done. Now all we have to do is to assemble the card. So we're going to take some green glue. You can use glue runner if you prefer. I just happen to like the green glue. Put a little bit on there in the back. Add it to the secret C piece right here. Beautiful. You see what a beautiful edge that has. Because it's green glue, I can move it around if I need to, but I didn't. And with this one. And then we're going to put this on the base. Here's the base. And I usually like to pop it up at this point. I like to use dimensionals to be able to have a little bit more popped up in dimension to this. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to start putting some dimensionals on here. I'm going to just use the outside because it's getting towards the end of this one. So it's easier if I just use the outside. It's exactly the same stuff as the inside. So there's no reason not to use the outside. And I'm going to put some here and take this off and take this off. I do suggest always putting dimensionals in the center as well. I have one customer who said to me, I don't like using so many dimensionals. You use so many. And what I said to her is each dimensional is less than 2 cents. So if I can make sure that it stays popped up and doesn't sag in the middle by putting on 2 extra dimensionals, and I spend less than 4 cents, I'd rather make sure it doesn't sag in the middle. There we go. Let me take this one off. And we are going to bring the card into the middle and just place this on top. And voila, you're done. It was very fast, very crooked. Let me just get this a little bit less crooked. There we go. That's better. Very fast, very fun, easy to make, and something you can do when you're running out in 10 minutes or less. I think this one is usually less than 10 minutes. Depends on what you want to color it for. As I said, this one was watercolor. This one is blends. You can do it either way you want. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something new. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And like and share my video and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel and this would help a lot. So I really appreciate it. Also check out stampingfunwithdonna.com. All the directions and pictures will be on there. And they will also be possibly other places. I put some of them on Facebook and some of them on Instagram, but you can find everything on stampingfunwithdonna.com. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.